As a Nigerian child growing up in the early 2000s, the chances of being exposed to comic book characters were slim. We didn't have comic shops on every corner, and superhero movies weren't dominating cinemas like they are today. Most of what we got came through local TV stations or random DVDs passed around between cousins and neighbors. My first introduction to Superman was through the movie Superman Returns, and to be honest, it didn't leave much of an impression. There was barely any action, it felt slow. Superman just hovered a lot. I couldn't understand what made this guy special. Couple that with the fact that Batman Begins came out around that time, it just solidified it for me that Superman was just not my guy. Till that fateful day when my mom dragged my introverted ass to another kid's birthday party. The music was loud, the kids were wild, and the DJ speaker was swallowing the whole compound. But in the middle of that chaos, I saw something playing on the living room TV. It was a strange Superman animation that I had never seen before. I couldn't hear a single word due to the loud music, but still I was glued. The monster was tearing through everything. Superman was throwing hands like never before. Even without the sound, I could feel the intensity. So I did what any sane kid would do in a moment like that. I turned to my mom and begged her to let us stay back after the party so I could watch it from the beginning with sound. She agreed. And it hit. Boy, did it hit. Just like that, the character I once mocked as a pacifist stood before me, a warrior. Every one of his punches driven by determination but laced with a silent desperation, hoping that this might be the one to finally drop him. I was amazed. I didn't know Superman could be this, a badass alien swinging his fists with everything to lose, fighting like a cornered animal. But today, we have so many movie adaptations and animations showing Superman kicking ass that no one even talks about the original anymore. A lot of people claim the 2018 version of the Death of Superman storyline is better than Doomsday, a theory that really can't be disputed, especially considering how much more development is seen in the characters in the two-part animation. But there are a lot of things that Superman Doomsday does better, and on the top of that list is Doomsday, the titular character himself. Superman Doomsday does a much better job of capturing the threat and sheer tyranny of the antagonist in a less is more kind of way. The 2018 version pits Doomsday against the entire Justice League, building him up as a force to be reckoned with. By the time Clark shows up, we are already well aware of Doomsday's strength, and we know how difficult this fight is going to be. In Superman Doomsday, however, the build-up is different. Doomsday goes on a silent killing spree in the outskirts of Metropolis before reaching the city. And the hopelessness of his victims is deeply felt thanks to the horror movie style approach in those scenes. There's minimal dialogue, just raw fear, shadows, and chaos, almost like something out of a creature feature. It makes Doomsday feel less like a supervillain and more like a force of nature. When he finally faces off with Superman, we know this is it. There's no one else, no Justice League, no backup, just Superman alone against a monster. And each time Doomsday takes a punch, a knee, a heat vision blast, and keeps moving without skipping a beat or even reacting to pain, you are genuinely left to wonder, what else can Superman do? Number 2 is the fight scenes, and let's be honest, Superman Doomsday has the better fight choreography, hands down. The 2018 version might have more characters involved, but the actual one-on-one fight between Superman and Doomsday and in the climax in the 2007 adaptation is a thing of joy. You feel every punch, every slam into a building, every desperate move Superman makes just to keep the monster down for a second longer. And the animation really leans into that brutality. It's a brawl. There is a weight to the hits. The camera angles are tighter. The blows feel personal. It's a desperate scrabble for the fate of the world. And if, for any reason, the Man of Steel falls before Doomsday, mankind is extinct. It's in that brutal, no-win scenario that another character quietly rises to the center of it all, not with fists, but with control. While Superman is out there bleeding for the world, Lex Luthor is calmly pulling strings from behind the curtain, which leads me to point number 3, the definitive Lex, at least for me.
Come to Papa.
Before Superman Doomsday, I never really liked the idea of Superman's main rival being a rich, selfish, conniving human. It always felt underwhelming. Like, how is this man supposed to challenge a god? But after watching James Master's performance as Lex, that completely flips the idea on his head. He puts the arrogance of Lex into perspective for me. He is cold, reserved, calculated, ready to capitalize on Superman's carcass like a vulture circling its prey. The 2007 adaptation makes Lex more integral to the plot as a strategic villain playing the long game, and that made all the difference. For the first time, I didn't see Lex as a nuisance. He was dangerous, and that's what makes this my definitive Lex Luthor. It's his arrogance and naivety that sets my fourth point in motion, and that is the other Superman. If you are anything like me, you probably found the reign of the Superman arc a bit contrived. Too many moving parts, too many characters. Superman Doomsday narrows the focus. No Darkseid, no cyborg Superman, no Kryptonian tech hologram, just the other Superman. A more intimate telling of what would happen if a man came back from the grave. Does he come back the same, or is this a different person entirely? This movie doesn't give that question enough time to fully unfold, and that's its biggest weakness. The clone Superman arc moves too quickly. The emotional moments, especially with Lois, doesn't get the room it deserves. You can tell the writers had something deeper to say, but the film is racing against the clock. Still, the idea is powerful, and even in its rushed execution, it left more of an impact on me than the crowded, overstuffed version in The Reign of the Supermen. And maybe that's what defines Superman Doomsday for me. It's not the most complete version of the story. It's not the most faithful. But in just over an hour, it manages to give me a Superman who feels vulnerable, a Lex who feels truly dangerous, and a story that doesn't over-explain itself. These are just a few of the things that make Superman Doomsday stand out. And while its short runtime is the root of nearly every criticism it gets, it shouldn't be overlooked. It's raw, it's bold, and for many of us, it was the first time we saw the Man of Steel break.